challenges faced by democracy. So before looking at the challenges, let us see what is meant by challenge. See, challenge is not just any problem. We usually call only those difficulties a challenge which are significant and which can be overcome. See, there are various challenges that we are facing in our day-to-day life also. So challenge means a difficulty that can be overcome. There are different chances that we are getting to overcome the challenge. So the challenges or difficulties that can be overcome are called as challenge. So a challenge is difficulty that carries within it an opportunity for progress. So we are getting an opportunity. So by using that opportunity, we can overcome that difficulty. So that difficulty is a challenge. So हमें कोई भी डिफिकल्टी एक चांस देता है, एक अपॉर्चुनिटी देता है कि हम वो डिफिकल्टी को पार करके एक सक्सेसफुल हो सकते हैं. तो दैट इज अ चैलेंज. Once we overcome a challenge, we go up to higher levels than before. So once we are overcoming that challenge, then हमारा जो पहले जो सिचुएशन है वो सिचुएशन चेंज हो जाता है. हम नया अच्छा तरीके से डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं. सो दैट इज मीन बाय चैलेंज. सो challenge is not just any problem. We usually call those difficulties a challenge which are significant and which can be overcome. So any difficulty that are giving us opportunity to overcome it, that is called as challenge. So let us see first challenge of democracy. The first challenge is foundational challenge. See, we can take example of India. When India got independence, so before independence, we were ruled by Britishers. So Britishers were ruling in autocratic way. They were not giving us rights. So after independence, we have adopted a democratic government. So we have laid down the foundations of democracy. तभी से हमारे डेमोक्रेसी की शुरुआत हुई. अभी जब भी हम कोई बिल्डिंग बनाते हैं तो बिल्डिंग बनाने के टाइम हमें पिलर्स लगाने पड़ते हैं, जो फाउंडेशन स्ट्रांग बनाना पड़ता है. कोई भी बिल्डिंग का या कोई भी कंपनी जब भी हम स्टार्ट करते हैं तो उस कंपनी का अगर फाउंडेशन स्ट्रांग होगा तो आगे जाके कंपनी अच्छी तरीके से प्रॉफिट कमा सकेगी. या कोई भी बिल्डिंग अगर हम बना रहे तो बिल्डिंग का अगर फाउंडेशन अच्छा हुआ तो बिल्डिंग स्ट्रांग बनेगी. सो फाउंडेशन मजबूत होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सिमिलर वे इफ यू लुक एट डेमोक्रेसी, देन फाउंडेशंस ऑफ द डेमोक्रेसी शुड बी स्ट्रांग. If the foundations are strong, then the people in the country will live happily. So this involves transition to democracy and then instituting democratic government. So it involves transition to democracy. So earlier we are having non-democratic government. So we are doing a transition from non-democratic government to democratic government. पहले हमारे कंट्री में अगर non-democratic government है या डिक्टेटरशिप है, मिलिट्री रूल है, तो उसे हम हटा के वहां डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट एस्टैब्लिश करते हैं. सो दैट देयर इज अ ट्रांजिशन. एंड आफ्टर द डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट इज एस्टैब्लिश्ड, वी आर इंस्टीट्यूटिंग डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट. हम वहां डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट स्टार्ट करते हैं. ट्रांजिशन ऑफ नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट इनटू डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट. सी दिस इन्वॉल्व्स ब्रिंगिंग डाउन एग्जिस्टिंग नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक रिजीम्स. सो ब्रिंगिंग डाउन एग्जिस्टिंग नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक पावर और कीपिंग मिलिट्री अवे फ्रॉम कंट्रोलिंग गवर्नमेंट. सो इफ यू टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ पाकिस्तान, देन इन पाकिस्तान मिलिट्री इज कंट्रोलिंग द इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट. लोगों ने जिस गवर्नमेंट को इलेक्ट करके भेजा हुआ है उस गवर्नमेंट को मिलिट्री कंट्रोल करता है. सो दैट इज रॉन्ग. वी हैव आल्सो सीन इन केस ऑफ इन 9th स्टैंडर्ड वी हैव सीन अबाउट परवेज मुशर्रफ, हाउ परवेज मुशर्रफ was controlling the ruled government or the people's elected government. So that is wrong. Military should be kept away from the government. Government should control military like we are having in India. In India, government of India is controlling the military. So earlier there are many countries where military is ruling or where non-democratic government is ruling. So we have to do a transition from non-democratic government to democratic government, and we have to keep military and other people away from the government and establishing a sovereign and functional state. So sovereign state means a state or a government or a country in which people are supreme. People are having the right to choose the leaders. So the people are choosing their leaders and leaders are working on behalf of the people. So this is called a sovereign state. So sovereign state and functional state. So function should be done by the leaders who are elected by the people. So this is the challenge of foundational challenge. Foundations should be strong. So initially there are non-democratic governments. So we have to lay down the foundations of democracy. So there are various challenges that many countries are facing while they are laying down the foundation. Like people are not aware about the democratic rights. People are not aware what is good for them or what is bad for them. Then it is a duty of the leaders or the government to tell the people or to inform the people about the democracy. Then after some time, people will know what is good about democracy and they will work to strengthen the democratic government. Second is challenge of expansion. See, once the democratic government is established, then it is our duty, or it is the duty of the government to expand the democratic government, or to to make the government, or to make the democracy reach to every nook and corners of the country, or to reach at every levels of the country, like we are having panchayats, or we are having state government or federal system of government, where the powers of the government are distributed to local bodies or to state government. So that is expansion. Or power should be given to different people, like women, like poor people. So once the democratic government is established, like foundations are laid down, then after that the building should be constructed. Building should be constructed in such a way that everybody is accommodated in it. सभी को उसमें घर मिलना चाहिए, सभी को उसमें जगह मिलना चाहिए, सभी को पावर मिलना चाहिए. तो कोई स्टेट्स है या फिर कोई लोकल बॉडीज है या फिर अलग अलग लोग है, पुअर है या माइनॉरिटीज है, एवरीबडी शुड बी गिवन द रूल, everybody should be given the power. So that is challenge of expansion. So it also takes time. There are people who are not able to not ready to be part of that government. So we have to make them understand that why the government is good for them. If you take example of India, then when Indian country was established after 1947, when India came into existence, like the modern Indian country came into existence, then ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम देयर वर मेनी प्रिंसली स्टेट्स. बहुत सारे राजे रजवाड़े थे जिनको इंडिया में नहीं आना था, जैसे कश्मीर. देयर वाज अ स्टेट कॉल हैदराबाद, जूनागढ़. दिस पीपल, द लीडर्स ऑफ दिस स्टेट्स वर नॉट रेडी टू कम विद इंडिया. दिस वेर द challenges of expansion. So after some time, what happened, our government had forced some people, or they have made the people understand that it is important for them to become part of India. So everybody came and became part of India. After they became part of India, then it was a duty of the government to spread the government, or spread the powers, to distribute the powers among every aspect of every people. Like all the people in the country should get the powers. So we have given powers to women, we have given the power to minority people, or we have given the power to different levels of government. We had established federal system of government or local bodies government. So power was expanded. So challenge of expansion is that it takes some time. People are not ready to accept the democratic government whenever the foundations of democracy are laid. So it takes time. So there are various challenges of expansion. So challenge of expansion involves applying the basic principle of democracy across all the regions. So there are basic principle of democracy like equality, like people are having power to choose their leaders. So these are the various basic principles of democracy. This basic principle should be applied to all the levels of government, or to all the regions. Everybody in the country should get these powers, and different social groups, various institutions should get these powers. So institutions like panchayat, like municipalities, municipal corporations, Zilla Parishad, these are the various democratic institutions. So this democratic institution should also get power. See, as we know, we have studied in federalism chapter. After 1992, the local body government, or third tier of government, came into existence. So earlier there were third tier of government, but that were not getting rights, or they were not getting powers. But after 1992, it was mandatory that this elections should be conducted for local bodies after 5 years. So there were various laws made by the government for local body government. So power was distributed to the local body government. So different social groups and various institutions got power. So that is challenge of expansion. Ensuring greater power to local government. Extension of federal principle to all units of federation. So federal principles, like there are some powers given to state government, some different power given to state government and central government. State government cannot interfere in the work of central government, and central government cannot interfere in the work of state government. So there are different issues in state list and union list, concurrent list. Everybody is given the power. So after democracy is established, then powers are distributed. So that is challenge of expansion. So it takes time. All the states are not that much strong. Some states are strong, some states are weak. So it takes time for every state to get that power and to implement that power and do welfare of the people. Then inclusion of women, minority groups. So everybody should get power. So still, even today, we know that in Lok Sabha and in Vidhan Sabha, only 10 to 12% of representatives are women. So even today, we have not given equal status to women, equal power to women. So it takes time. So to expand the power to everybody, it takes time. But in local bodies, we know that 33% seats are reserved for women. So after some time, in Lok Sabha also, in assembly elections also, women will get equal power or women will get equal representation like men. So it will take time. So that is challenge of expansion. It also means that less and less decisions should remain outside the arena of democratic control. So most of the decisions should be taken by the democratically elected leaders. So leaders which are elected by the people should have more power to take the major decisions. So major decisions should be taken by the people who are chosen by the people, who are leaders, who are chosen by the people. So most of the decisions that should be taken by the government that is elected by the people. Other private people should not influence that decision. There are many businessmen, there are many trade unions that are acting as pressure groups. They are pressurizing the government to take the decisions on their behalf. We know many businessmen that are having close relations with our politicians, with our leaders. So they are influencing the government to take the decisions for them. So that should not happen. So in many countries like USA, India, these countries are facing this challenge. Like many powerful people are influencing the government to take the decisions for them. So this is a challenge of expansion. Next challenge is deepening of democracy. So now democracy, the foundation of democracy is laid. Now democracy has expanded. Then after the expansion, there were many institutions that were found. Now we have to strengthen that institutions. That institution like panchayat. We have established panchayat after 1992. We have made mandatory that panchayat elections will be conducted after equal interval of time, after 5 years. So अगर 5 साल के बाद अगर इलेक्शन हो रहा है, पंचायत बन के आ रहा है, लेकिन पंचायत में जो भी पावर दिए गए, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने जो पावर दिया है पंचायत को, अगर पंचायत वो पावर यूज नहीं कर पा रहा है तो कुछ यूज नहीं है. इसलिए हमने डीपन करना चाहिए. एक एंड लास्ट सिटीजन है हमारे कंट्री का, उस तक पावर पहुंचना चाहिए, उसके पास पावर पहुंचना चाहिए, तो ही हम बोल सकते हैं कि हम अच्छा डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री है. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस वी शुड डीपन द डेमोक्रेसी. Once the democratic institutions are established, now we should deepen the democracy. This involves strengthening the institutions and practices of democracy. So there are many institutions like Parliament or Supreme Court or Panchayat, municipal corporations. These are the different institutions of government. So we have to strengthen that institution. जो भी constitution ने जो भी उनको power दिए है, वो power वो अच्छी तरीके से use कर पाए, ऐसे हमें situations बनाना चाहिए. So, and there are different practices of democracy, like election should be free and fair. So election is also practice of democracy. So we have to strengthen the election commission so that election commission will conduct free and fair elections. So these are the various challenges. It takes time. See, when India got independence, many people in India were not knowing about elections. Many of them were illiterate. So they were not knowing to read and write. So we have invented a new method of elections, like we introduced symbols. So party candidates were getting symbols, so people could identify their representatives on the basis of symbol. लोगों को पढ़ने नहीं आता था, लेकिन सिंबल देख के उनको पता चलता था कि कौन से पार्टी का लीडर है या उसे वोट करना है. तो ये हमने नया इन्वेंशन किया, क्योंकि हमारे लोगों को हमारा प्रॉब्लम था कि हमारे यहाँ इलिटरेसी था, लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं थे. तो ये अलग अलग तरीके से हमने चैलेंज पार करके हमने डेमोक्रेसी को डीपन कराया. सो इट टेक्स टाइम. सो देर आर वेरियस इंस्टीट्यूशंस लाइक पंचायत. सो पंचायत इज ऑल्सो हैविंग सम प्रॉब्लम्स. सो पीपल हु आर इलेक्टेड टू पंचायत आर नॉट नोइंग what is good for them. They are not knowing about their rules. So we are conducting some seminars, or we are strengthening them. We are giving them power. So because of this, democracy is deepening. So people who are living in village, common citizen of the village is also having power to rule his village. So this is because of deepening of democracy, but it takes time. There are various challenges that we have to overcome. Challenge of deepening of democracy is faced by every democracy in one or the other form. So all the countries in the world which are having democratic government are facing this challenge. This must happen in such a way that people will realize their expectations. See, many people are having different expectations from government. If you take rich people, then rich people are having different expectations. Poor people are having different expectations. So there are different expectations, but democracy cannot fulfill all the expectations. So what we should do, we should fulfill the expectations in such a way that people will realize whether their expectations are correct or not. If the expectations are correct, then only we should fulfill that expectations. See, it usually means strengthening those institutions that help people participate and control. So there are various institutions like panchayat or local government where people can participate in decision making. So बेसिक लेवल और जो लोकल लेवल के जो भी इश्यूज है वो लोगों को अच्छी तरीके से पता होते हैं. जैसे हमारे गांव में क्या इश्यूज है ये वहाँ के लोगों को अच्छी तरीके से पता होगा. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को कुछ पता नहीं होगा क्योंकि हर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट गांव तक नहीं पहुंच सकता है. इसलिए हमने लोकल बॉडीज बनाया, लोकल बॉडी गवर्नमेंट बनाया. तो लोकल बॉडी गवर्नमेंट में जो भी लोग रहते हैं उनको उनके राइट्स के बारे में अच्छी तरीके से पता होता है या उनके प्रॉब्लम्स के बारे में अच्छे तरीके से पता होता है. सो वी शुड गिव देम पावर. सो इफ दे आर गेटिंग पावर टू रूल फॉर देम देन दे विल टेक गुड डिसीजंस. अगर हमने उनके हाथ में पावर दे दिया तो वो अच्छे डिसीजंस ले सकते हैं और अच्छे डिसीजंस लेने के बाद वो अपने गांव का डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं. सो इट यूजुअली मीन्स स्ट्रेंथनिंग दोज इंस्टीट्यूशंस. सो इंस्टीट्यूशंस लाइक पंचायत और जिला परिषद. सो वी शुड स्ट्रेंथन देम. We should give them power, we should give them funds, we should give them money so that they will use that money and they will do development of their zilla or of their tehsil or of their village. Then this will help to improve the people's participation and control the institutions like panchayat and local bodies. If people are participating more in democracy, then only democracy will become good. Otherwise there is no use of conducting elections if people are not taking part in elections. If people are participating, then only they can check on the work of government, they can keep eye on the work of government. If the government is not working properly, then people should ask questions, people should protest against the government. So this will happen only when people are having some power. So we should give some power to the people. So it takes time. See, initially when we got independence in 1947, in 1950 our constitution was adopted or enacted. So after 1950 till 1992, in many states like Maharashtra, Rajasthan, we were having panchayats, but that panchayats were not having any legal backing. There was no legal law that elections to panchayat should be conducted after every 5 years. ऐसा कोई लॉ नहीं था कि 5 साल के बाद पंचायत का इलेक्शन बनना चाहिए. हर स्टेट्स ने लॉ बनाया था लेकिन पूरे इंडिया के लिए लॉ नहीं था. इसलिए 1992 के बाद 1992 में हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को चेंज कराया. हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कुछ चेंजेस लाए, अमेंडमेंट किया. तो 72nd और 73rd अमेंडमेंट में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जो 72nd और 73rd बार जो चेंज हुआ उसमें पंचायत और म्यूनसिपालिटी को कुछ पावर दिए गए. एंड देयर वर मेनी पावर्स लाइक पंचायत इलेक्शन शुड बी कंडक्टेड आफ्टर every 5 years. Government should give some money, state government should give some money to panchayat and they should conduct the elections properly. So there were